Pedar calibration, Section 3. Step 1. The pedar calibration process uses the pedar box and insoles for a real-time, online calibration. Therefore, we use the insoles, insole cable, pedar box, battery cable, and battery in order to complete the calibration process. Step 2. Connect the pedar box to the battery by means of the battery cable. Ensure that the red dot on the device is in line with the red dot on the cable. Connect the insole cable to the insole by connecting the L of the insole to the left side of the cable, and similarly, the R of the insole to the right side of the insole cable. Step 4. Open the calibration device by opening the latch and pulling out the calibration board. Place the insoles in an arrangement with the insole serial number up where they are not touching each other and are at least 1 centimeter away from any of the edges and the other insole. Close the calibration board while holding the insole leads in place so they do not shift during movement. Step 6. The T-assembly will be your tool in order to allow air to flow into the calibration device. When the outlet valve is parallel, air will flow out of the T-assembly and not build within the device. When it is perpendicular, the air from the air compressor will flow into the device. The manometer will measure the pressure and provide real-time pressure readings. It is important to keep in mind that you do not unload the air between each stepwise calibration process. You keep building on one another. Step 7. Follow the instructions in the software portion of the pedar calibration used in combination with the hardware demonstration from this video. Now that you have been exposed to the hardware portion of the calibration process, we will focus on how calibration is completed in the pedar Online software. At this point, the pedar box should be turned on with the insoles inserted into the calibration board. We begin the process by testing the connection between the pedar box and the Bluetooth dongle by navigating to Data Acquisition, Test Connection. Click Test Connection to test the signal between the Bluetooth dongle and the pedar box. After the connection has been established, click Close. Now, navigate to Expert Settings, Settings Calibration Online. At this point, a new window appears. Click on File, New Calibration in order to proceed. A window will now appear asking you to name the calibration file for today's calibration. The naming structure is as follows. We start with the letter of the insole, followed by the serial number of the insoles, and then end with today's date. Since I am calibrating our X pair of insoles, I will first enter in the letter X, followed by the serial number of our right insole, followed by the serial number of our left insole. I will then end with today's date. Click Save to save the calibration file. After clicking OK, the settings screen appears. Since the manometer provided with the pedar system measures the pressure in bar, we will have to change this on the max load settings from 60 Newton per square centimeter to 6 bar. After changing this setting, click the Download button. This will now download the raw A to D values from the pedar insoles. Please keep in mind throughout the calibration process that the values on the right-hand side of the screen are not pressure values, but are rather A to D values read by the pedar box itself. After clicking Download, choose the option Start Here Automatic Settings. We are now setting the pressure range of the insoles during this process. The software will ask you to load the insoles to 6 bar. Since we are performing an amplification step, you will want to go above 6 bar to about 6.1 or 6.15 bar. After loading the insoles in the calibration device to the desired pressure, click the amplification button. You can now see that these are the A to D values with the fully loaded sensor. Unload the air in the calibration device and wait until the manometer reads 0 bar. Click the offset button to take the unloaded measurement. After the unloaded measurement has been taken, load the insoles to exactly 6 bar and then click Test. After clicking Test, you can see that we now have fully loaded sensors again. Click Apply and then Yes to save the new table settings. Now, click on the Calibration tab in order to proceed with the stepwise calibration process. It is important at this time to unload the insoles if you haven't done so already. On this page, please do not click the download button since we have already set the calibration range on the previous screen. In order to continue with the calibration process and complete the stepwise calibration process, click Measure All Levels. The software will now ask for an unloaded state of the insoles and click OK. Now, we load the calibration device to the set levels as determined on the screen. Once loading the insoles to the appropriate level, click the spacebar to advance to the next level. It is important at this time to not unload the calibration board between measurements. Keep in mind that the pictures on the right are A to D values and are not pressure values. So now that I am at 0.2 bar, click spacebar, and now load to 0.4, and click spacebar, 0.6, and now keep going all the way up until 6. Now I'm going to load to 6, and then when you notice when I click spacebar, after reaching 6, the calibrated lines appear. The combined calibration lines are each individual sensor's calibration curve combined in a single picture. As we can see, the y-axis contains the A to D values, and the x-axis contains the pressure values. Notice if I click on an individual curve, you can see which sensor that corresponds to. Similarly, if I click on a sensor, I can then see its curve in the calibration curve. Now, in order to finish the calibration process, we click Apply, click Yes to shall the new created lines be stored, click OK, and then Yes to shall the configuration file be created. Notice that the new calibration appears as an option in the drop-down menu.